Hi, this is Hilton Samuel from GodWantsYouMarried.com, and we are continuing a series called 12 Christian Dating Myths that might be keeping you single. We have gone through 4 of them so far, and now we are speaking about the 5th one. Just in case you want the others, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, and you can go back and look at the former episodes. If you want all 12, we would encourage you to go to GodWantsYouMarried.com and just simply put your name and email in the opt-in form, and we will be happy to send you all 12 directly into your email account, your inbox. Now, the 5th one. The Bible has clearly defined dating guidelines. That should be defined, dating guidelines. Now, there's a whole big debate about, modern dating versus courtship, or so-called biblical dating. I use the term myself. The Bible doesn't actually have a script. It doesn't have specific do's and don'ts like the 10 commandments of dating or 10 commandments of getting your spouse. No, the Bible does have a general formula that you you can use, general principles, but no specific clearly defined. In the Bible, if you look at how people got their spouses, Adam and Eve, their spouse, Adam's spouse was actually created for him. And if we look at Abraham, Isaac, the way Isaac got his spouse, the way the culture was set up, the parents were heavily involved in choosing the spouse, particularly of their girl children. In the case of Ruth, there was a bit of strategizing, and she was able to, on the instructions of Naomi, go to Boaz's house and lie down at the foot of his bed when he climbed into bed. And, the rest is history. But the Bible isn't very clear. It seemed to me that the Bible is much more concerned with how you relate after you would have gotten married, or after you would have actually bound yourself with the covenant of marriage. There are reams of advice and guidance in the Bible as to how you should relate as human beings, as spouses, as husbands and wives, but not as much as how you go about securing your spouse. So we have to be very careful when we start, thinking that the Bible has this to say about dating and that to say about courtship. And, if someone dates, they are outside the realm of the scope of what the scriptures have to say. Yes, there are certain practices within the modern dating context that the Bible clearly does not subscribe to. And similarly, even if you go down the courtship route, then, you're not going to go to hell. You're not going to go to hell. I've read, I've kissed Dating Goodbye, and there's some very powerful principles in there. There are other people who are now saying that, the whole courtship thing is kind of restrictive. And even people who have followed the courtship model, after they've got married, there are lots of divorces now coming to the forefront of so-called people who have courted to get married. So again, let's just say, whatever method and mean you use to scope and find and scout for, secure a spouse, the Bible is not going to condemn you as long as you are within the parameters of scriptural guidelines. You avoid doing things like the Bible is very clear about that. You should avoid youthful lust. You should avoid fornication. You should avoid adultery. You know, all of these, even in your thoughts, you should be clear. You shouldn't do anything that is not countenanced by the Bible. You should avoid even the very things that are... The Bible is very clear that you should avoid the very appearance of evil. Once you're operating within those boundaries and parameters, then you're not going to go to hell. You're not sinning for choosing either dating or courtship to find your spouse.